Let's talk about the perfection model. This is the idea that there is something to strive towards, to attain to be, but of course, it also means that there's an idea that there's always going to be something wrong with us. So, for background, obviously, we learned a lot of our programming and experiences through the old energy, win or lose. And the underlying concept behind a lot of this energy was given to us through fear and scarcity. We need to strive to be worthwhile, to be popular, to be chosen, to be selected for work. We need to always be working on being humble and not tooting our own horn so that we don't get ahead of ourselves. We need to stay in fear or in compliance, or fighting for what there isn't a lot of jobs, a lot of positions at school, a lot of friendships. And we were also taught that if we did get ahead of ourselves or too big for our boots, we have a lot of ways of saying, do calm down when we look in our positive energy. But when we're in the negative, we simply get back up. And this is all part of the symptom of learning how to devalue ourselves so that we didn't celebrate ourselves. And that's the best that we could do in that energy. So it's not about our story being irrelevant or our story being passe and we've done it. We need to pretend it's not there or forget how we learned this. But what we do want to do is understand how we learned it so we can recognize it when it comes up. For me, anytime I have a fear response to something, I realize that I'm now making a decision based in an old program or somebody else's ideology. So if I get a text message saying this is the last sweater of its kind, grab it now, and I go, oh my gosh, and I have a fear of missing out or fear of making the wrong choice or fear of making a pressured choice, I simply stop. For me, if I'm triggered into feeling a fear response, I know that something other than my own goodwill is at play. Because you know from your own experience. If somebody says, hey, we've got this thing going on and it's meant for you, you go, yeah, cool, I'm in, and you have this amazing experience. And there's no high energy, right? It's this beautiful plateau energy. So when it's meant to be, it comes with great ease. And we want to put that now as a concept onto our personal selves, our personalities, our heart being, our human selves. When we are being in ourselves, we are at ease. When we're around people who resonate with us, there's no introvert, extrovert judgment. There's no, I can't handle this, or I don't want to be here, or please don't go, I want more of you. It's simply easy, which is always our best evidence that we're where we're meant to be. So then how do we come to a place of ease with ourselves? And I often use the term the perfection model because for me, it's an idea that we've all created in our own minds about what we should aspire to be. And all of it seems to negate who we are or our skill sets or our personal preferences and choices. We are not here to be perfect. We are not here to be a version of ourselves that does not come easily. Right? Yes, we need to work at learning and managing our bodies and learning about communication. We definitely want to put energy into learning and striving and growing. But we don't want to put energy into trying to change our very form and shape into something we cannot be. In the new energy, this energy of uniqueness and individual striving, we're going to be able to recreate our belief system about who we are and who we don't have to be and how we don't have to be. Do I feel like wearing a ball gown or flannel jammies? Cool. Both feel beautiful for different reasons and both are unpleasant in different situations. So where do you want to put yourself and what feels, the most like it's going to bring you an experience or joy or ease? So in the background psychology of this perfection model is the story we tell ourselves. The story of how we got here, of what happened to me, what didn't happen, where are my hurts and losses. Can you see that a lot of our story is from overcoming hardship, fear, loss, scarcity? This is not to minimize you getting here this way. This is not to minimize your growth, your learning, your striving, your overcoming, and your being overwhelmed and deserving support. But listen to the words you use to describe your story. Keep in mind, we learnt them under the win-lose. So a lot of our framing is still, I lost here, I won here, I was, But what if you were to frame your stories based on who you were in the moment and how you felt and where you got to put yourself and what you have learned? Because that's going to support us in letting the perfection model disappear. It's a judgment piece. And coming back into being my true self. 10 years ago in my story, when I was being my true self, I had to come through all of these opportunities and learning about how not to be something other than me. That's the story. And who are you today? You are a product of your experience. But if we come from the win, and I don't just mean everything needs to be Pollyanna, put a beautiful shine on everything, okay? Reframing is about giving yourself manifestation or celebration energy in the most powerful form. So when you are hurting or needing, you're still going to reframe that into the I deserves and I will have. Because you want to give yourself back the power to manifest this, but also to experience it and to experience it from a place of love, that you deserve support and love, that you deserve a job that really embodies your skill set, not that you're necessarily having to be good at or they like you. That's still a bit of a judgment-y lost place. We want to come from that celebration of, well, it's taken for granted they're going to like you because you're putting your soul in an environment with other souls that are destined to journey together. So why wouldn't you choose for this to be easy? Why wouldn't you choose to be in a role where what you do naturally is wanted, whether it's the way you think or the way you work or the way you act or the way you speak? Let's choose that rather than nailing it down into this tiny little job description. Let's just make it easy. You being you, doing what you're good at is easy. So you don't have to work so hard. So the people who choose to work with you get so much more than just output. And that the boundaries make sense for each environment. Because you're not trying to please or be needed or need particular defense boundaries to keep people away or offend people. We want to go where it's easy. Some days you're going to hang out with people in the lunchroom, and other times you're going to go for a walk. Some jobs you're working from home and you have no social contact and you enjoy your tally and your books. And other times you just want to lie in the sun, play with your pets, be in the elements, or be under the blankets in bed. And loving that moment, loving the fact that you're working through deep emotion. Loving the fact that you're letting your imagination play. Because when we work in the deep, or when we let our imagination fly, brilliance comes, revelation comes, inspiration comes, our channel opens, and our creativity is given space. When we were 2 and 3 and 4 and playing as children in play centres and kindergartens and schools, and we were painting and putting colours everywhere, there was no perfection model. The colours may not have made sense, and we loved it. And our family and our parents and the people around us loved it. And the child next to it either loved it or threw a truck at it. Because, wow, that's an experience too. So we don't want to lose our, adult emotional development. We're not trying to be 2 and 3 again. But we're trying to unlearn a whole bunch of stuff since then. So my cue, and the one that I share with you today, is when I feel reactive. If something makes me feel reactive, I know that that's not putting me in the outcome I'm going to enjoy. If somebody says, let's go on a holiday, and this huge energy comes up, I'm like, oh, is that good energy? Am I excited? Is it overwhelming? Is that too much? Like, let's just, who am I and what am I thinking and feeling right now, and not worry about what I'm supposed to be thinking and feeling. What's going on? My neighbor might say, hey, can I borrow your ladder? And I can either go yes or no. It's not complicated. But I could give it a lot of energy, or I could just roll with it. And if I'm feeling really weird and awkward, maybe there's a reason. Maybe that's a no. If I'm feeling like it's relaxed and easy, then let's do this. And maybe one day we'll have a different connection, if it's meant to be. But not what's the right thing for me to do here. No, what's the right thing for me to do here? And just be really kind and gentle with yourself as you start to become aware of how many stories you've been told, how many fears and boundaries and walls you were trained into restricting yourself to. And instead, if there was nothing wrong with you, what would you do next? If you had no fear, what would you choose next? And let's go back to being boundaryless in our options instead of pigeonholed or waiting for some outside proof that we're worthy. We're here. We're creations of magic. We are souls living and sharing together. We're already miracles. We don't then need to minimize that into some other form of perfect.